The Ranked Knockout update aka 18.0 has been out for a week, and with it, the highly anticipated ranked mode has finally been released, and it's the most fun I had playing Fall Guys in months. This is For 7 Days, a series in which I give my first impressions on the first week of an update, so anything added or removed past April 8th will not be mentioned. Let's first talk about how they announced Ranked Knockout. At the start of the Fall Fantasy update aka 11.6, Miotonic made a newsfeed post announcing Ranked Knockout and that it'll be coming out in the next update. This is the first time they've talked about a future update at the start of another update. Another newsfeed was posted at the end of the Fall Fantasy update revealing a bunch of new things, such as the name of the final rank and being able to earn exclusive cosmetics. On April 1st, they released a trailer for Ranked Knockout. The last time they released a trailer for an update was 7 months ago, or on August 30th, 2024, though it only showed Ranked Knockout and not the entire update, so you could argue it doesn't fall under the category of update trailers, but I think it does, as Ranked is the headlining feature for 18.0. I just love how they released an entire update on April 1st of all days. It's very on brand for them. While most updates will have names like Survival Update, Fall Forever, Scrap or Stumble, and etc., some updates don't receive official names. Usually, these are classified as minor updates, so they'll be named after the month they were released in, like June 2024. Every update has a specific number tied to them, like 10.8, 10.9, and 11.2. The numbers can be found in the settings page on the bottom left-hand corner, and they have a meaning. Back in the day of seasons, the first number would be the season we were in, so in Season 4 Creative Construction, the first number will be 10, indicating we're in the 10th season. The second number will be a content update, which would include new cosmetics, new levels, and new variations. The final number was for bug fixes. With Miotonic moving on from seasons, we'd get updates, the first one being Summer Breeze aka 10.3, and we'd go up from there to 10.4, 10.5, 10.6, and all the way till 11.6, which was Fallen Fantasy. So logically, you'd think the next update will be 11.7, but no, it's 18.0, which is very odd, and the first time they've ever done such a radical shift. They probably did it so the update number and Fame Pass number are one and the same. We're currently on Fame Pass 18, so 18.0 being the update number makes sense now. Shout out to this comment for pointing that out, by the way. I had no idea why, and when I read that comment, it made sense, so thank you to them for that. This is such a minor and insignificant change that most players won't notice or care about because it doesn't affect the actual game. It's just a back-end change, but to me, going from 11.6 to 18.0 is pretty strange, and I don't know why they just chose it to do it now of all times, but whatever, I guess. Let's discuss the round pool. I was not expecting them to bring back Bounce Party. It's even featured in squads and duos as a team level. This map was only available in solos, so it's great seeing it in more modes. Rumors were floating around that Miotonic fixed Star Chart, so I was definitely expecting it to come back, but not Bounce Party. As someone who wants all the classic levels back in the game, I'm happy to see it back, especially since it got vaulted at the start of SS2 aka Season 2 Salad Scramble, which came out on September 15th, 2022. Do correct me if I'm wrong on this, but Bounce Party became the longest vaulted map in the game's history, being in the vault for 928 days. I always thought it was Bubble Trouble at first because the map got vaulted during SS1 or Season 1 Free-For-All, but it did come back for a day on September 15th, 2022 before getting vaulted. So I suppose because it came back on September 15th, the timer got reset back to 0, which is how Bounce Party, I suppose, became the longest vaulted map in the game's history. Well, anyways, this brings the total to 57 maps in solos, 70 in squads, and 70 in duos. Time to talk about Knockout. This applies to Ranked Knockout as well, since both modes share the exact same round pool. In total, we have 30 maps now, whereas it normally has 40, or had 40. Not exactly sure why they removed 10 maps, but regardless, they added 5 new woodland themed maps, those being Bubble Brook, Clumsy Crusade, Dodge Dive Survive, Pine Climb, and Rebound Run. Like with every update since the winter update or 11.5, they made variations. They will make variations of the 5 woodland maps, and these are the April Fool's variations, which can only be found in the Foolish Trios LTM. This LTM is also the first time we've seen a Trios based game mode in 3 years. The last time we've had Trios was back in Legacy Season 6, 6. Bringing back trios for an April Fool's LTM is a pretty smart way of bringing back a classic mode. Like, most of the player base probably didn't even know trios was an actual mode, so it's a novel concept to them and a pretty funny take on squads. Unfortunately, it wouldn't make sense to make trios a permanent fixture since we have squads or duos, but it was nice seeing it again. I'll be making a whole dedicated video on Ranked Knockout, so I'll keep this brief. I didn't play the game for the first 3 days of the update, so I started on April 4th and got to Superstar aka the final rank on April 8th. I jumped straight into Ranked Knockout, no fussing about with Knockout to learn the new maps. I went straight into the belly of the beast, and I don't think I've had this much fun playing Fall Guys in a long time. Ranked Knockout has 12 creative and 18 Unity levels, bringing the total to 30. Although I will say, it felt like there were only 10 maps because of how repetitive it got. After a while, it got boring playing the same maps in the same order over and over again. Since this is the first rotation for Ranked, this could change based on player feedback. But when they add Ranked Solos, Ranked Squads, or Ranked Duos, are they going to remove maps from both regular Solos, Squads, and Duos and Ranked Solos, Squads, and Duos to make sure that the round pool on the unranked and the ranked are the exact same? Just like how they did with Knockout and Ranked Knockout. Squads and Duos do feature some maps that are very unfair and unbalanced, so not having them in ranked squads and duos would definitely even the playing field and make it a lot more competitive and a lot more fair. However, I don't think they should remove those levels from regular squads and duos. It would sort of remove the fun and casualness of team games, because with team games, pro players can't just stomp the competition and win. Anything can happen in team levels. So in a weird sense, it being unfair and unbalanced actually allows for epic sweeps and just allows for like a sort of newbie team to have an epic comeback. But I don't think people would appreciate that in a ranked competitive sense. So that's fine if they choose to remove those like unfair and unbalanced team games in ranked squads and duos, but I don't think it should be done in squads and duos. Apologies for the yap fest. Let's move on now. The ranked information slides are incredible, so bouncy and full of life, and I genuinely hope they remake the how to play slides exactly like this. It's astonishing to see how much kudos you'll be getting if you reach Superstar. Genuinely, color me impressed. Good job, Neotonic. I was really surprised when I saw that. I don't know why I didn't think that they could actually just give kudos and crowns away. I didn't think they would be that charitable. Although I will say, it's kind of lame how you'll get the rewards at the end of the competitive cycle though. Again, I'll be making a video all about ranked, so let's move on for now. Fame Pass 18 released on April 1st, and thankfully it has a name, and it's the Woodland Wonders Fame Pass. It even got a trailer. The last Fame Pass to get a trailer was the October 2024 Fame Pass, and this pass has the whole camping Boy Scouts theme going for it. I love the cohesion between the Fame Pass with the update. The skybox is midnight, which fits the mood for camping. They also added new decorations that also fit the camping atmosphere, but are mainly nature related, like bushes, trees, mushrooms, and VFX like fireflies and falling leaves. Everything in this update complements each other. Last time I feel like it happened to this extent was in Scrap or Stumble aka 11.2. I'm just getting Legacy Season 5 vibes from the Fame Pass. For those who don't know, that season had a jungle theme. The toasted marshmallow set looks great. The skin itself, color, and faceplate, especially the color, looks awesome. Dryad really reminded me of Groot, more specifically Groot from Marvel Rivals, really sharp and just overall menacing. And to contrast that, it's so cute how Campfire is an inflatable object. It even has a screw-on cap, just love that. Unfortunately, I'm someone who usually wears pants with my Fall Guy skin, so I'm not going to get the full effect of the Night in the Woods pattern, but it does look awesome. Everything else I find to be pretty mediocre, mainly the Boy Scout stuff, and this time around, the alternative skins don't look that great, the Afterglow skin being the exception. It's pretty disappointing how they've only been releasing decorations and stickers for the past few updates. Last time we got an obstacle wasn't in 11.3, which was what, like 4 updates ago now? Although we did get a new tab called VFX, which stands for Visual Effects. I'll quickly mention the Midnight Skybox they added, and as a night owl, it feels nice getting some representation. It reuses the original theme's background and changes the sky to this gorgeous purple while adding stars. It's simple and elegant. Hoping one day we get an Aurora Lights Skybox one one day. Let's talk about the decorations first. The added tree, mushroom, log, lantern, and shrub. The tree object is the same one that's used in the Unity levels, though it's never been directly in the player's way, as in it's not an object you'll get to interact with in any meaningful way. One map where we can see it clearly is in Snowball Survival. It also appears to be the exact same one in creative mode. Seeing the tree close up, it looks really rubbery and fake, which could explain why it was relegated to the background, as it was never meant to be seen so up close. I feel the same way about the bush as well, though you could chalk it up to sort of the game's aesthetic and art style, I suppose, but it just still looks really bad. But I'm sure creators will appreciate the added greenery. Like, I just love how the log is just a retextured padded beam. It would have been great if they added more variations of logs, just like how they did with the rocks. But man, the mushroom and lantern are my favorite decos in this update. They look great, especially the lantern. But now, let's talk about the star of the show, that being the VFX. I'll be honest, I was disappointed when I learned that falling leaves and fireflies don't cover the entire map like how snow does. They're only really good if you scale them down below 1. Don't get me wrong, they do look pretty, but I just wish they covered the entire map. I could see people using them to guide players or to lead them down certain paths, or as a way to draw your eyes to something. Oddly enough, the grass VFX ended up being my favorite out of the bunch. It could add some depth and detail to some parts of the map, such as this log and mushroom in the example I'm showing. Can't wait to see what they'll add to the VFX tab. Just exciting stuff all around. Oh yeah, they also added 5 stickers, those being leaf, lily pad, daisy, crescent moon, and pine tree. Bubbling Brook is a level I played so much in Ranked Knockout and gone tired of quickly as a result. You walk in a straight line, and the further you go, the more points you get, but there are bubbles sprinkled throughout the level that will help you gain points faster. Hitting any of the vehicles will cause you to respawn. On one hand, I find the map concept to be pretty neat. The further you go, the more points you'll get. However, I find the level to be pretty boring after a while. It could be because of how long the actual level is, but it lasts way too long. Or should I say, the point requirement is just way too massive. We'll say it's cool how they emulated the look and feel of water and how it pushes you forwards. Overall, a boring level with an interesting premise that I played way too much of. The April Fool's version is just a team's version of this level with party crashers. Not much to say. I'm almost ashamed to admit this, but Clumsy Crusade absolutely kicked my ass on multiple occasions while playing ranked, and I could not pass a section with the rotating bat and pendulum for what felt like 10 minutes. That bat moves way too damn fast. Good lord. You have to take the trapeze when getting on the top path because the other bat will knock you off when you take the slow path. After a few games, I got the hang of the timing, but not gonna lie to you, this map was a bit of a challenge, which is oddly refreshing since Miatonic creator rounds are pretty easy since they want to appeal to a wide range of players. The whole treehouse vibe is freaking awesome, won't deny that. Although looking at their other course maps they've made in recent memory, this one is a bit weaker in terms of layout, but is more chaotic thanks to the second and ending section of the level. The April Fool's version isn't really that different in terms of gameplay experience. It's just the same level, but teams. Now, Dodge, Dive, and Survive is a map that I vastly prefer in Foolish Trios. The April Fool's version is just pure chaos with the blast balls and rubber chicken, an absolute delight to play. It gave me flashbacks to the Sparta Showdown variation of Big Shots, in where they spit out blast balls. That was a crazy variant. Like, I wish they would add it to normal Big Shots. Anyways, I played the map for the first time in Ranked Knockout. Actually, I played all the levels for the first time in Ranked, but regardless, I was losing on it like crazy. But I'm not gonna lie to you, it got the adrenaline pumping. The idea for the level is basic but solid, and adding slime also keeps you on your toes. Definitely a finale I enjoyed playing. Pine Climb is another take on Slime Climb. Whereas the latter was a race level, there is no finish line to cross in Pine Climb. With Slime Climb and Slime Scraper, most of the chaos will be generated by the obstacles. However, with Pine Climb, that responsibility has fallen upon the player. Destructible objects are placed throughout the level. 3 jumps and the tile is gone. Well, only for a short time however, but those seconds could be life or death depending on where the slime is. Yes, the slime does rise, or well, rotate I guess. The first section is incredibly narrow, and with everyone trying to pass through, it can get spooky. But if you're in the lead, it's incredibly simple. In terms of design and layout, this one is condensed, chaotic, and overall, the map is enjoyable. I wouldn't say it's better than Slime Climb or Slime Scraper since it deviates away from those maps with its level design, design, but it's a finale that has a layer of strategy and is just fun. I haven't played the April Fool's version of this level, but I imagine that it's even more chaotic with the power-ups. I feel like it might be too chaotic, which could make the map less enjoyable, but again, I haven't played it yet. I'll admit, I'm someone who has a bias towards levels where I'm moving super fast, and Rebound Run scratches that itch real good. What's interesting is that at the top it actually says laps, and I don't believe that's something you can do with vanilla creative. This is one of those levels I didn't like at first due to the reliance on the bounce pads scattered throughout the level, but once you get into the flow, this level is just mindless fun, especially on lap 1. The April Fool's variant is just disappointing, although a party crasher might have been overpowered since this is a race map after all. And you know what? I want to talk about the April Fool's variants in general, so let's do that. I feel like they played it way too safe with the April Fool's variants. They made it squads based, put a bunch of power-ups and call it a day. Incredibly lazy. Although it's not like the other April Fool's events were super creative either. 2021 was just Royal Fumble with 20 plus people. 2022 was just Hexagon with 40 people. But I feel like this year, they had the right idea of making April Fool's versions of the new maps. But they could have done so much more, like change the layout, change the colors, add fun decorations, but they just did the bare minimum and could just call it a day. Imagine if they added Blueberry Bombardment as round 1 with 32 players. Maybe even some of the first levels they made in 2023, or even levels from the community like they did in 2024 with the Fools and Shuffle LTM. Could have been a great way to showcase how different April Fools will be with creative mode going forward. Don't get me wrong, it's awesome how they brought back trios after all these years. April Fools has been feeling less foolish and more lame-ish. In terms of changes, there really isn't a lot. The big one is that daily challenges have changed, and how they give you challenges based on specific game modes like solos, ranked knockout, and even creator spotlight. All 3 challenges could be based on different modes, whereas previously all the challenges could be completed in one game mode. You're also earning less fame, by the way. It's 15,000 fame versus 25,000, which is just outrageous. And just excuse my French, but this is just such a stupid and asinine change. I did get a day where all the dailies could be completed by playing one show, but it wasn't common. I wonder if Izzytorium noticed that players weren't able to complete their dailies, so they decided to just make them easier. That could be the only reason why they changed it. I haven't checked if they changed how much fame you need to complete the fame pass, but I hope it's been decreased because 15,000 fame daily is nuts. On the positive side, the challenges aren't that difficult, which could explain why they don't give out as much fame. I'm reminded of the challenges we used to get back in the legacy days. And I think I've completed my dailies like once or twice because I only really played ranked knockout. Another change that I should have mentioned a while ago is that they changed the 3D background to midnight. It looks great, and also the track that plays in the lobby has changed back to Everybody Falls chill mix, so that's cool I guess. They also got rid of the fantasy jingles that played in the map loading screen during the Fall and Fantasy update. It's such a strange addition. It felt like someone in the office pitched the idea and they decided like, why not just add that? I've always despised the idea of locked challenges, forcing you to complete them in a certain order. Like, I won a game of Foolish Trios, but since I didn't have the win challenge unlocked, it didn't count. Thankfully, the challenges are easy and I did get another win pretty quickly, but it's just tedious since I was playing alone and had to rely on strangers to help me finish the Explore mode challenges, and thankfully, people were helpful. And not gonna lie, the reward for both the events did make me chuckle a little bit. Although I will say, Foolish Mastery requiring ranked is crazy work. I know it's for the more experienced players, but still. Special thank you to our Max Store, aka $5 members, Jumpin' Runnin', Decal, The Editor, Axolotl Profi, T-Man, Balloon Rook 8629, and Assault TM for your support as always.